Hello everyone, this is Sara Gioiella and welcome to the Italian in the Room. Today we're in Edinburgh in the West End and I want to show you a place where architecture and a really good eye for art can really make a place. So come with me to see this beautiful apartment and meet Claudia. The space holds itself really well. There is a strong sense of structure to it, but it doesn't feel rigid or overly preserved. It feels lived in, like it's been allowed to shift a bit over time. What you start to notice is how naturally everything sits together. Nothing feels like it's been placed to stand out on its own, but at the same time there are moments that quietly draw your attention. You move through it and things reveal themselves gradually. A color that feels slightly unexpected, a material that catches the light different, a detail that you didn't notice at first, and that rhythm continues. There is a balance between elements that feel more classic, more grounded, and others that bring a bit more contrast, a bit more energy, but it never feels forced. It's more like everything has found its place over time rather than being arranged all at once. Even the more expressive pieces don't take over, they just shift the atmosphere slightly, give the space a bit more character without changing its identity. And I think that's what makes it engaging to be in. You're not shown something, you're discovering it, bit by bit.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? I'm good. Thank you for welcoming me.
You're very welcome.
Hello everyone, this is Sara Gioiella and today we're here with Claudia.
Hi.
We're in the West End of Edinburgh and this is her lovely apartment.
Claudia is an artist, as you can tell, over here, and also an art teacher, right?
Yes.
Tell me a bit more about what you do and...
So I've been an artist for all of my life, and I also run like a sort of mini art school, if you like, and teach adults drawing and painting. So the two things kind of grow together, being an artist and exhibiting my work and also having the classes. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
And how did you discover about this apartment?
So the story is that my husband brought me here on a first date.
Wow.
We had been out together, and well, when we first met, I had been telling him that I'd been looking for a place to have an exhibition, and he said, "Oh, I know a place that could work for an exhibition." And so we arranged our little date and met for coffee, and he brought me here. And he'd just bought this whole building, and his company had to basically do some work in it and to refurbish the whole place. The space was empty, it was all, hadn't been painted, not so much as you see it now. At the time when I came here to look at it with a view to exhibiting, I didn't imagine that I would then, a few years later, be living here.
Yeah.
I did actually have an exhibition here, that was back in 2017. And then after that, the work began on the actual apartment, and
I guess I could see the vision, but it was already a starting building, I imagine. So it just started as, okay, I'm gonna do an exhibition, and then how did you end up with the idea of actually I could see myself living here?
Well, after the first date, obviously things went very well for us, and we ended up living together, and then my husband decided, after he'd done all the work in the property here, he decided he didn't want to let this apartment go because it was so special. So we decided we would move here together and it would be our home. Just because it is very, it's very unique. It's quite, apparently when it was built, it was built by a builder, I believe, and it was considered the most decorative drawing room in all of Edinburgh because it did see that. Got all of the cornicing, all the work that's in the stairwells you'll have seen as you come in.
Yeah, and you both kind of found a very unique way of blending the traditional elements of this place with your contemporary, very arty approach.
Yeah.
And I think you found the perfect balance here. So, and especially I love this thing so far. I feel like I would never imagine. From the outside you see this like historical building, and you never imagine,
I'm gonna put a pink sofa in here.
But we kind of like built I sort of, for a lot of the rooms, I would sort of choose an item, and I just have always wanted to have this velvet pink sofa. So kind of everything was built around that idea. So that was the first thing we chose for the room. And by the way, we were choosing all of these things during lockdown, so we couldn't go and see these things. We were like doing lots of research, research online, talking to interior designers, and sourcing bits and pieces, even the light fitting there. So yeah, but I do like that mix of modern things with old things. It's lovely paneling and tune.
Because they don't fight for attention. They actually kind of come together. As if they were always going to be there for some reason, which is great.
And that's why as well I've kept the space fairly minimal. We don't have a lot of furniture in this room, which is a very big room, but we decided not to sort of over furnish it, because actually the architectural details need space to speak as well, as much as
you need to express the grandeur of this space. Sometimes people, when they start living in a place, they get a bit carried away and they think, oh my god, I love this object, and they just put it in a place without necessarily understanding how it would maybe crash. Like, it doesn't necessarily marry well with the space, especially when you have such a strong character as a shell. So it's lovely, and I personally love this lamp. When I was coming,
it's amazing. That was something we saw and thought, that the room could take the drama of that shape there. So that works very well. And just other things that we've seen, we discovered, and like this sort of stand here we saw, and it's just quite a sculptural as well. It's very dramatic, looking very solid, it seems right for the space. So like you say, we have to go with the gut feeling a little bit when we start to see things and think.
What we did between the two, it was the one more eclectic, more like kind of pushing the...
Probably me. Probably me.
So would you think that you guys had kind of a similar idea of what the space was going to look like, or was it more kind of a compromise and finding the right balance?
Well, I think that we both, we wanted it to look kind of like you walk in and you go, wow, we wanted that, so we wanted it to look, special. And I guess starting with the bold pink sofa already is a statement, so we were fairly in agreement about everything that we chose. I don't think there's nothing that we really regret or felt we had to change.
That's perfect. You found the perfect sweet spot. The space looks great, and it looks very personable. Is there one element that have a special kind of connection to?
But I think the obvious thing would be the portrait, the Patrick portrait, which when my husband saw it in the gallery, he just thought that's me and Claudia together. That's a sort of
very Tim Burton, very Claudia singer,
very dark gothic punk kind of look to it. And we just love it, and it's like it's actually quite a recent purchase. We haven't had it that long, but when we put it in the room, we're like, it just looks amazing. It looks like.
But it fits perfectly with the general theme of this, which is contrast but balance. This whole space is very bright, very eccentric in a very positive way. And then you have this element, which is actually more on the kind of moody element. But it fits perfectly, and it doesn't make the space feel less happy. You can see the romantic side.
It's a sort of darkly romantic look. She's smiling, so it's not completely. I love the comment of my mother-in-law when she came in and she said, "Well, that says everything."
Thank you for having me today. I truly love the space. It's a masterpiece. Since the day that I started thinking about these episodes, I had your apartment in my mind. I go to their art classes, so I was in the periphery of this building, and I always admired it. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to show you.